will the virtuous Sangha, out of compassion, for the sake of this assembly and all living beings, please turn the wonderful Dharma will to teach and guide us how to end birth and death, leave suffering and attain bliss, and quickly realize not birth. Cung kính đại đức tặng thịnh, vì thứ pháp hội cấp nhất thiết chúng sanh, thiện chiến diệu pháp luân giao đạo ngã môn, như há liêu sanh thoát tư lý khổ đạc lạc, thất chứng vô sanh. Homage to the Blessed, Noble, and Perfectly Enlightened One. Namo Saranto Suchero Ye Alahudi San Miao San Puto Xie. Namo Tarakta Toya Naya La De Tamyo Tambo Da Toa. The unsurpassed, profound, subtle, and wonderful Dharma, 100,000 million aeons is difficult to encounter. Now that I am able to see and hear, I will receive and maintain it. I vow to fathom the thus come one true and actual principles. Wu shang sheng shen wei miao fa bai qian wan jie nan zao yu, wo jin jie wen de shou, chi yan jie ru lai zhen shi yi. Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, Venerable Huineng, Venerable YongHua, Venerable Leftful people, and all good knowing advisors, Emitofuo. 诸佛菩萨、六祖、师父、上人、各位出家人、各位善知识，阿弥陀佛。Phật Bồ Tát kính thưa lục tổ, hòa thượng Nghĩa Hóa ký thầy cô và quý vị thiện tri thức A Di Đà Phật. Today is the 1st of November, almost the end of the year already. We are continuing to discuss the 6th Patriarch Sutra. We are presently on slide number 69 of the chapter 8. This is about 11 chapters, right? This book, this sutra is about 11 chapters, compiled by the disciples of Master Huineng, and we're nearing the end of it. It's to me, it's a real pleasure to be able to be here with you to discuss the sutra. Because I'm learning a lot. This is the first time in my life I really appreciate the certain teaching of Master Huineng. And I read it many times before. It's not until recently, the last year or so, when I began to appreciate the... We've been talking about that for a couple of years, that this is a certain teaching, certain enlightenment teaching, but I really never appreciated it until recently. The way that I love the fact that the way he teaches in this sutra is just so beautiful. Never seen anyone do it like that before, and so I really appreciate the chance to be here and go through this with you, because as I go through it with you, I'm learning as much as well. So we all are benefiting from this, because I feel, because I read many explanations of this sutra before in many languages, and the way it has done before, there's not enough emphasis on sudden enlightenment teaching, which is this sutra. Every single thing is about sudden enlightenment teaching. And what I really love is the fact that the way he does it with each individual, it's so fantastic, so fascinating. So it's a pleasure. And not only for me personally, but we are all here in doing this with a common purpose, planting sudden enlightenment seeds in our consciousness. Okay, the reason we've been able to do that is because we've done it for a long time before, and that's why we're able to do it again, and we will continue to do that until we become Buddhas. How's that? So let's make it a date. Let's keep at it, and then if you're not a Buddha yet, next time, let's do it again. Maybe you'll be up here, I'll be down there, snoring away. But this is so Mahayana. I mean, this is nothing more quintessential sudden teaching than this. The other things are just basically theories, but you see here in the sutra a superior monk who does it live to someone he just met, or in a very short time span, enable this person to become enlightened. It's just fantastic. It's so Mahayana. All right? Okay, so he's talking to Chu Cheng, which is who is, I believe, a disciple of Sheng Xiu. You're in the same guy? He's a spy from Sheng Xiu. You cannot call Sheng Xiu Master Huineng's rival. Not at all. Sheng Xiu is like the caliber of Master Huineng's disciples. So he's not a rival at all. Okay. So, but the Chinese back then are not very bright, not very good. So they say, what is that? Northern Sheng Xiu, Northern Chan Sheng Xiu, because he's a successor to the 5th Patriarch. The Southern school is Huineng, because he's supposed to have received the broken bowl. So because of Sheng Xiu's seniority and history with the 5th Patriarch, therefore he must be enlightened. Okay? And that's the standard of lay people. For us professionals, it doesn't quite work like that. In the real Buddhist hierarchy, yes, there is, for you worldly people, normal people, there is a hierarchy of seniority. But in the real Buddhist world, the hierarchy is based on your virtues. It's based on your samadhi level. Okay? And that's why in our Buddhist world, Sheng Xiu basically a nobody. In the world of Master Huineng, Sheng Xiu doesn't even deserve to be a gatekeeper. How's that? I know I'm destroying a lot of Chinese beliefs, but truth be told, Sheng Xiu cannot hold a candle to Master Huineng, and that's the nature of Buddhist studies. You can reach and go as far as your potential and your willingness to work hard. but it's not limited to seniority at all. Okay, Buddhism is a world of, it's a real, authentic meritocracy. Okay, it's about what you're capable of doing, your level of wisdom, and how big your heart is. Okay, so it may not be obvious to you, but from Master Huineng, to use certain teaching to help these Chinese monks, it takes a big heart of compassion, okay, to do that, because it takes a lot out of him. He has a very hard life, not very good nutrition, doesn't have kimchi to eat, or Vietnamese food, all the nutritious things, no steaks, no wine, and so he has a very hard life, and whenever he helps someone, you know what it means? He has to help these people carry the burden for them to make it. Don't think it's this very simple process like you go to college and you pay your tuition and fees and pass your tests, and that's it. And Buddhism is a lot more. You passing a test is your part. The other part is that the good advisors must carry the burden for you. Okay, so it takes compassion, great compassion, for these beings, these teachers, to do that. We Westerners don't understand the concept, where in the Chinese they have the concept of shi fu. Okay, si fu, you Cantonese, right? And in the Cantonese, si fu. Hello, si fu. And Korean is sunim, sabu. It's like Japanese, sabu sabu, that famous chain. So it's a concept of shifu. Shu is teacher, fu is dad. So it's a person who teaches you, will also takes care of you. Okay, who worries about your well-being, who worries about your success, who worries about you, cares about you, and that's Buddhism for you. Okay, and that's what the teacher is supposed to do. And that's just like you parents, like a parent's role. We take care of our children when they grow up and they mature and fly off on their own. They fly off without, thinking twice about it. Okay, and they don't understand what it's like until they in turn become parents. And then they look back and they say, wow, that's what my dad used to do for me and what my mom used to do for me. Okay, so we have, the Chinese has this tradition, beautiful tradition of the Shufu thing, where these disciples, Master Huineng, was on the receiving end of his kindness and compassion. So when it's their turn to do it, they try to live up to the same standards. And let me tell you, I wasn't taught much by my teacher, but I'm eternally grateful for what he did for my generation. Okay, it sets the standards of excellence, sets the standards of kindness and compassion that I can't stress enough that what I look at when I look at my teacher, that's like I look at Master Huineng, I see a being who are so far superior in kindness and compassion to most teachers, and certainly something that my generation really falls short, falls so far short of it, and that's a shame. That's, to me, it's the greatest failure in my generation. We cannot match his kindness and compassion. Never mind about how many temples, how big the temples are, how much money, how many disciples, how famous we are. Okay, they become my generations becomes the real judge. In the the real thing we're judged by. I feel is how kind and how compassionate we are. Okay, and we have a lot to do, a long way to go. All right, so Master Huineng explained to Chu Cheng a little bit. Chu Cheng did quite get it, but Master Huineng used a verse to teach him. To remind you, let me try to remember where he was. Okay, the first line of the verse is that mind ground without wrong as a self-nature morality. He's explaining because these people, the Cheng Xiu and Chu Cheng, are scholars. Okay, they are bookworms. You talk about any principles, they get it. Okay, so they are trained in the classical way. The monks, the serious monks, Chinese monks used to be trained, but it's book knowledge. Okay, so Master Huineng masterfully use Chu Cheng's and Cheng Xiu's strength to help them. Okay, Chu Cheng is extremely familiar with the concepts of precepts, samadhi, and wisdom. That's the core of the Buddhist training. So he uses that to help him become enlightened. And what happened is that because Chu Cheng and Cheng Xiu are so attached to the words of those things, and that's what happens to unenlightened people. Okay, unenlightened people are very attached to words, to concepts, and that's a downfall. Okay, and that's why in the verse here, so he says, I have a different way of looking at precepts, samadhi, and wisdom. Okay, that's quite different from your book learning, from your scholarly knowledge, book knowledge. Okay, I tell you what. Okay, what you don't understand, mind ground or wrong, is that when you practice, you want to become enlightened. You need, like farming, to plant the seeds in your mind. Okay, your mind has to receive seeds that are free from they're pure, they're free from errors. Okay, so he's giving Chu Cheng a concept of planting seeds. Okay, just like we are planting seeds of certain enlightenment for you by listening to, by investigating the sutra. All of us are planting seeds of certain enlightenment in the future. All right? Same thing. For him, for Chu Cheng to become enlightened, he has to understand that the seeds he planted in his mind has to be without wrong. Okay? And that's the morality, that's the purity of the self-nature. Okay? When your mind is pure, truly pure, it is called the morality of the self-nature. So far, so good? Next, Sutra Text. Mind ground without delusion, self-nature, wisdom.
心地无碍，自性慧。
And he says, the mind ground without delusion is the mind ground that is not confused. The mind ground that is free from evil, free from errors. That is called the self-nature wisdom. Okay? Whereas Sheng Xiu or the typical scholarly says they define the delusion and then define it by external marks. Here, Master Huineng says, if that's too slow, you need to accrue it bit by bit like that, too slow. There's a much faster way. Certain teaching is that all the things that you've been learning is basically leads to the state called without delusion. And that is the nature of wisdom. All right? 71, Sutra Text. Mind ground without upheaval, self-nature concentration.
心地无乱，自性定。
72, commentary. Mind ground, okay, when the mind, okay, the mind that is required for you to take the leap to certain enlightenment, to enlightenment, is a mind that is free of chaos. Okay, what is chaos? Chaos of the mind is what? What's the nature of the chaos in the mind? It's very scientific. Yes, orange.
Master, is that just the thinking mind?
Yeah, but scientifically, what is that? Come on, you scientists, engineers, and so forth. It's a mind that has graphics. You know, when they do an MRI scan, huh? Remember those MRI scans? You know, I remember they brought this monk, Caucasian monk, who studied under the Dalai Lama up to 20 years. He says, you must have learned something from these people. I said, yes, absolutely. I'm very grateful to my teacher, the Dalai Lama, taught by Dalai Lama personally. 20 years. I'm so grateful. He taught me so much. I learned so much. Okay? So that scientist, researcher about the brain, neuroscience, or those types of excellent researchers, he said, we'd love to do MRI scan of your brains. So what did this guy do? This Caucasian monk who followed the Tibetan tradition, he sat meditation for 2 hours. And then, okay, I'm ready. I'm so intrigued because it's on PBS, by the way. That's before the advent of Netflix. So so I was curious. I said, this is 20 years ago. I was curious. I said, really, Tibetans? Must be fantastic, you know. And so I was curious to see what kind of brain waves this guy would have at his level. So we went there and I saw the brains being colored by different colors. And I said, that is chaos. Okay? So chaos can be scientifically described as technicolor, multicolor, Panavision, if you will. You get it? Huh? Panavision, technicolor. That's what people used to do for color films, color movies. Anyway, two Vietnamese. And you know, it's funny because you know what level this guy is? Take a wild guess after 20 years. Anyone? No? No wild guess? Any guess? Huh? What? Too what? Too late. What is two? Two what? Come on. Huh? Second dhyana. How did you know? It could be second dhyana, could be second stage arhat, could be second ground. Second dhyana. Okay? My point has nothing to do with Tibetan stuff or the Dalai Lama. My point is that what Master Huineng is talking about is that your self-nature concentration has no chaos whatsoever. Okay? All right? Questions? 73. Sutra Text. Neither increasing nor decreasing, you are Vajra. Body comes, body goes, the original samadhi.
不增不减自金刚，生去生来本三昧。
And he says, next in the commentary, he says, neither increasing nor decreasing. He's talking about the self-nature that cannot increase nor decrease. Okay? And when you see your nature, okay, then you are Vajra. The Chan school doesn't talk about this, but we also in our temple, in our school, in our temples, we also practice tantras. Okay, and the tantras is the kind of practice that will help you make vajras. Okay, and so the important part about that is that with tantra practices you can become enlightened, or after you become enlightened, you can use these practices to generate more vajra. Okay, so that's why the vajra, only the Mahayana people know. It's funny because recently it was brought to my attention, some sort of people on the internet got upset. Many people were upset anyway, but this one here comes to mind. Last month is someone else, this month is someone else. That's what happened, you're becoming too visible, I guess. If we're happy with just 5-6 people on the YouTube watching our videos, Now how many? Several hundred? Unreal. Too famous. Beyond my wildest imagination. For years, I asked them, how many people watch our videos? Why do you have to spend so much money buying cameras, paying for internet? And those things are, back then we had to buy storage space because each 4K video is like, how many terabytes? Oh, like a few hundred gigabytes for 2 hours. Okay? So he had to pay for a lot of storage for these things, and it keeps on getting bigger and bigger and bigger. So anyway, so I said, so how many people are watching our videos to justify me spending so much money? He said, "Be very good day today." Several people showed up and watched it online, as per the Google Analytics, right? Something like that. And half of it are our regulars. Yeah. So, this Vajra is your, the body, it's a substance of your self-nature. All right? The body comes, body goes. The original samadhi. Okay? And next, Master Huineng destroys Cheng's attachment to the body. He says, this body comes and goes. Okay? And you know, your teacher and all the Buddhist monks tell you this body impermanent. Actually, you ought to know this body, when it comes and goes like that, actually is the original samadhi. Okay? Any questions? Do you get it? You see, it's not for you. Let's see how quickly before this guy becomes enlightened, shall we? 75, Sutra Text. Hearing this verse, Cheng regretted his former mistakes, and he expressed his gratitude by saying this verse.
臣闻记悔谢，乃诚一记曰。
So when Cheng heard the verses from Master Huineng, okay, it sunk in. You see, I was joking a minute ago, 30 seconds ago. I said, "Are you enlightened yet?" Because if it were Master Huineng, some of you might have been enlightened already. But it happened to be Master YongHua, so you're not enlightened, so it's not your fault. Okay? You don't realize how many blessings are required for you to be there at Cheng's spot, and listening to Master Huineng's verses, and suddenly he says, "Wow, I was so wrong." So the lines of verses destroyed all the prejudices that Cheng had. You see, this is what I meant earlier by the gift or carrying the burden. It's like Master Huineng has to lift the veil of in Cheng's mind to see, wow, you have so many baggages, so much baggage. Okay? And it takes that ability to do that. It takes a lot out of Master Huineng, I assure you. Okay? And because of Huineng's help, Cheng has a light bulb going off in his mind and says, wow, I was so wrong. I was so prejudiced. There's some of Master Hsuan disciples says, I'm Master Hsuan disciple. I say, so what? Explain to her. He says, I only have one master, number one master, Master YongHua. I say, so what? He's great, but you're not. Cut it out. Yes, he's great, but you're not great at all. None of you is. Okay, so, and you don't even recognize your own mistakes. At this point here, again, it's about lack of samadhi power. That's why I say that. And the woman, Master YongHua disciple, he says, I don't care. You say what you say, I believe what I believe. But Chutang woke up. He says, wow, I was so wrong. I was so stuck on my beliefs. That's why I'm so confused. Explaining that, Master YongHua disciples translate for them. He said, yeah. I'm not criticizing your teacher. I'm criticizing you. Your teacher is like a giant and you are like a frog. And he expressed his gratitude by saying this verse. Very Chinese. And before, I have to admit to you, when I was investigating this 20 years ago, I said, wow, the Chinese are so cool. Master Hui Neng composes a verse, and this guy, something happened, the guy would compose a verse to respond to that. And the Chinese are so clever, they're so cool, they're so literary, they're so advanced. And how do I feel nowadays? They talk too much. Next, Sutra Text 77. The illusory body, the five skandhas. What illusion can be ultimate?
五蕴幻生，幻合究竟。
Okay, commentary 78. He says that this illusory body, yes, all the Buddhist teaching point out to you that this body is illusory. Okay? Illusory. Because it is made of the five skandhas. All right? Yeah. So, what does it mean? Illusory made of five skandhas. And this is where you sort of wonder how much Chutang really understands, because he's still referring to something. This is why I don't like these verses, because he's referring to the Chinese jargon. You talk to the Chinese, there's some Chinese today, maybe online as well. They keep on referring to these Chinese phrases and stuff like that. And I assure you, to the many Chinese I listened to when they quoted me the verses, the Chinese phrases, I said, you don't know what you're talking about. I'm not like you. You cannot impress me with words, because I look at you first. You look at me and say, Master, you're an idiot. I said, oh, okay, I'm an idiot. Because I don't look at the words, I look at the person saying those words. You look at the words, right? Don't you? Just like that person online. And let me finish the story. He says briefly something like, this is fake Mahayana. I don't know where he got the fake concept from. I'm seeing East Coast, maybe Florida. So he says, this is disgusting, like a fake Mahayana. I say, absolutely. So these people are offended because you say something that is against their beliefs. Okay, and so one of my disciples was very concerned. She said, Master, you don't want to offend these people, the extreme people. They're gonna attack you. They're gonna badmouth you, gonna slander you. I told myself, slander, that sounds familiar. 25 years. But then I finally said, they may slander, they may attack you, but you know what? They heard the words already. So in the future, they become enlightened. And then I have the last laugh. I'm very patient, okay? Might be a few more asamkhya kalpas. So the body is an illusion, Buddhist concept. You talk to any Buddhist, the guy says, your body is illusory. Okay? Because it's made of the 5 skandhas. This body is basically false because its components are false. What are the components? What are the 5 skandhas? Number 1, what is it? The 5 skandhas, come on. You ought to know by now. I know it doesn't help you become enlightened, but at least we can get the conversation started. 5 skandhas, come on. Number 1, you better know. Hey, you, ego person, you. That's how you make a living, right? Preying on people with egos. Huh? Yeah, absolutely. That's why they're suffering so much. Okay, the suffering comes from the ego. So all you have to do is dissect the various components of the ego, and you can have them stuck with you for life. Job security. Anyway. Oh my God, what happened to you? Daughter is okay? She's dead or they find out? Hallelujah. And the husband had the COVID-19, right? And then after he recovered, and then he retired. And then it's the oldest daughter, right? Wow, interesting. You don't have it? Go get tested at least. She did? And no? Not today, huh? Okay, wear that mask. Just kidding. I keep on telling you, but you don't believe me. Excuse me, Master Huineng. I keep on telling you that the COVID cannot harm you. Look at her. She took care of her husband. She took care of the daughter and 2 more daughters. Is she sick? No. See? Samadhi power. You have samadhi power. Samadhi is like an armor. the virus cannot come in, they happen to be in through your nose, then they die. And that's fake Mahayana news. Okay, I'm kidding. You can take your mask off. You cannot harm us. I have a rule. Okay, I have an agreement with them already. Said if they harm you because you come here, they have to deal with me. Okay. So anyway, so this illusory is made of the 5 skandhas. One is this concept in our mind, this illusory concept of form, okay, of shape, of solidity. Yes? Isn't what the scientists say? Atom is like 97% empty or 99% empty, right? And yet we have this sense of solidity. Huh? So it's false, it's illusory, it's empty. Okay? So this notion of a form, a notion of shape, notion of solidity, okay, that's an illusion. So far, so good? Number 2, what's the second skandha? That's also an illusion. Feelings. Feelings are false, are illusory. Okay? In particular, feeling of love for your children. That's an illusion. Okay? What's practical for those of you who don't have children? What feeling would you like me to talk about? Feelings of sleepiness is an illusion. What do you mean, really? Yes, really. So, number 3, form, feeling. What is this number 3? Don't be surprised. They've been with me for 10 years now and they don't know anything. And they wish to become enlightened. Fat chance. Okay? What's the third one? That's the third type of illusion, that you are all stuck and you don't even realize it. First of all, you have this concept of shape and form and solidity. In particular, what is the most dangerous illusion about the form? It's pretty. That's a heavy delusion. Okay? Beauty is an illusion. Except for your beautiful wife. And we all agree on that. Okay? Of course, there's always exceptions. In Mahayana, see, Julie's shaking her legs saying, yeah, I'm liking Mahayana more nowadays. Okay, so form is in particular a very, very, very coarse form of delusion because we are attracted to beautiful forms. Right? Feelings is also very, very confusing aspect of life because we are drawn to pleasant feelings of L word. Love. Thank you. Yes, give a mic. How come you have so many mics and you yes, white.
I'm just curious on how do we see the illusion part of our children?
Our children are for real. At least 2 of them are real. Others, false. Darren is false. And Jared is Catholic. Must be false. Okay, internet has a question.
Yep, so we have a YouTube question from Alta D. Question
Oh
is,
no!
can Master explain...
You know, it's funny. He used to not come because his parents said, no, you can't come, you get infected. And thank you now that Anna came and she verified for all of you that she lives in the midst of infection, not without getting infected. And what are you afraid of? Anyway, so somehow we convinced him to come. He used to come quite often. Now he disappeared. So he went from coming before the COVID, okay, once a week. So he started coming more regularly, and he went from 1 to 3. And as soon as he got to 3, typical of most people who get to 3, they say, I made it. I'm so happy now. So now he's back to online presence. Video watcher number 8.
So,
yes, go on. I'm
so
a little bit bitter about
is,
it. But,
his question is, can Master explain transformation bodies of Buddhas and Bodhisattvas?
Oh, that's a cool thing. That's way beyond. That's way beyond the 5 skandhas. What happened? This is so exciting. This is from the books. After you become enlightened, okay? Pay attention now. Oh, I still haven't answered the question about babies. Okay. Yeah. After you become enlightened, okay? Like these sages, what happened is that they realize that so many people, they need the help. In particular, a lot of people that they owe to, they need the help. You know that? They realize there's so many people that they owe to. And now they're aware of them. And they said, there's so many of you. How can I help them all? Okay? I better help them before I lose track of them. Because once they lose that body of theirs, you cannot find them anymore. It's much harder to find them. Okay? So these sages, when they realize they spot these people who are their creditors, they say, I gotta help them. Okay? No time to rest. So they help them. Okay? But there are too many. So that's why they said, I need to have transformation bodies. So transformation bodies like the moon reflecting on the bodies of water. Does it help Alta D? So all transformation bodies are basically like a reflection of the moon. Okay? So they create these myriads of transformation bodies to go all over the universe. Because what happens is that after you lose your human body here, chances are that you probably will go to another world somewhere else, next life. So it's very hard to find you. And then if you stay here, you can be not, most likely you won't be in the human realm. Most of you will go to animal realms. Okay? Most of us go to the hells. So that's why the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas have these transformation bodies that will basically a clone of themselves, and they can send them to all over the Dharma realm to do the work for them. So that's why it pays to become enlightened. Now you can retire. All you have to do is manage these transformation bodies. Say, oh yeah, you go over there, you know. You go over there. Okay? Does it help? So what was the question again, original question, Julie, about children? Lovely children? The children? What's illusory about children? Well, I'm glad you asked. The children are illusory because, number one, do you kiss them on the cheek? Do you?
Yes.
Yes, there's illusion of the body right there. Okay, number two. Do you feel love for them?
Sometimes.
Then sometimes you are confused. Okay? Yeah, so that's the children are basically illusory. Don't have to worry about them.
Thank you, Master.
Just rest. Take it easy. Don't worry. They're illusory. And you're supposed to be enlightened by now with that. You see, it doesn't work when I do it. It doesn't work. Master Hui Neng does, you should be enlightened already. And it's supposed to help you become enlightened. Don't worry. And you don't get it. Oh, well. Okay? So, number 3 is thinking. Okay? Thinking is what we are so addicted to. Okay? We think and think and think. Ask them something, let me think. Would you like to go to Las Vegas? Let me think. Are you in favor of him or him? Let me think. See, which one is less evil? Which one is stronger? Sick people. Okay. All right. So thinking is a form of illusion. Okay. Thinking is confusion. Thinking is a source of confusion. Okay. So that's the number 3 skandha. And number 4 skandha is activity. You know, the subtle thinking. Yeah? Thinking is a coarse form. Let me think. Okay. So the activity is like the thinking, the mental energy behind your autonomous system. For example, the heart beating is from the sing. It's from activity. That there's a low level of mental activities that's in charge of that. That's called sing, activity. All right? That's number 4. That's also false. Number 5, finally, is consciousness. Okay? Your consciousness is another form of illusion. Especially when those of you who are very sensitive, he says, she hates me. Okay? Okay? That's a form of consciousness. You aware of this anger energy towards you. Anyone? Or she loves me? Huh? Okay. Also, same thing. That consciousness. Okay. You aware someone turn around. Hey, someone behind me. Huh? Okay. You aware the conscious, the awareness of something. And through your sense organs. So that's the fifth skandha. Okay. So the ego, whatever the shrinks call as egos, that's the five skandhas. Okay. The Buddhists are very precise. The therapists call it egos. We call it five skandhas. Why? Because unless you know what five skandhas, it's very difficult for you to break through and destroy the ego, destroy the confusion. Think of it in terms of, if you have a problem and you don't, and unless you know, the better way to deal with the problem is you know how the problem, the structure of the problem, okay, how it's made up. If you understand that composition of the problem, the structure of the problem, then it's much easier for you to resolve the problem. Okay? It's just like you want to destroy a building. Okay? All you have to do is you know where it's supported and so forth. Okay? And you put dynamite here, dynamite there, and you blow it up, and the whole thing crumbles. Yes? Instead of destroying every single thing, you destroy the key parts. Right? So the Hinayana, they destroy everything. Mahayana, we destroy only selected parts. That's why we're a lot faster. Thick Mahayana. All right? So that's why there's a difference. Okay? And if you advance Mahayana in a certain school, what do you when you destroy things? I just found a neat trick recently, like yesterday. How to destroy a building without using dynamites. Called Zhongyin Sunim. They're doing remodeling up there, and so they removed all these things. And he said, Master Zhongyin, can you help me remove all this covering of the wall? And the guy, I'll be right back. He went to the bathroom, he came back, and the whole building is gone. More or less. So far, so good? All right. So, question from go first. Still a lot of questions.
So, Master, sometimes, so for things like depression or anger or all those things, are they feelings or thoughts or both? Does that, like, the difference there, is that difference important to help us know how to destroy?
Okay, before I answer that, I need to qualify this. This is thick Mahayana analysis. Okay? Let's say you are sick. That's not say you're sick. That's just assume you're sick. Okay. Let's say you are. Let's see. You can choose between depression and manic. Which one would you like me to use as an example? So many of you, please lower your hands. Real epitome here. This, Daniel, the Buddhists, they most sickos, not like you Catholics and Christians.
Depression.
Yeah, depression. Okay? So you say, I'm not feeling good. Sound familiar? I feel so bad. Sound familiar? I used to feel that every day. Every day. For over half of my adult life. Okay? I know I'm not supposed to be joking about it, but now I'm looking back, I think it's funny. When I was there, not funny. Please don't joke about it, because it really hurts. It hurts. It's painful. Yes? Yes? What is that? What skandha is that? What skandha is that? Daniel?
I think it.
Yeah, go ahead.
I think it's thoughts, but then thoughts happen first, and then feeling happens next.
Exactly. This is why it's so dangerous. That's how you're depressed. And that's how you get up in the morning and within 30 seconds you feel bad already. Okay? And please don't nod your heads, because we're all in the same boat. Okay? You feel bad. So you see, what happens is that there's a thought in your mind that says, I am feeling bad. And I do feel bad. It starts with a thought. It says, I am feeling bad. That's a thought first. And it's confirmed by your own feelings. Yes, I do feel bad. All right? So far, so good? Sounds familiar? I think the comment about fake Mahayana has related to this thing here. I'm picking on depressed people. And so you have the thought skandha there, and you have a feeling skandha. Okay? And then what do? You say, let's stay in bed. Let's not get up. Let's not move. Okay? You isolate yourself. You lie down and find comfort in bed. Safety, away from people. And that's form feeling. I don't have to brush my hair, wash my face. Okay, so there you have three different aspects of confusion right there. But let me tell you what really matters to you is, please pay attention. The way it occurs to you, for you depressed people, is because there's a ghost. What does a ghost do? Shall we go into the paying session? Because this is when we're supposed to do with the professional training. You say, Master YongHua trains all these psychologists, therapists on how to deal with those things. They plant this thought in you. I am feeling bad. That's a thought that they plant in you. What else? It's the brain waves that plant in you. They said, I am feeling bad. That's a thought. Next. Okay? That's right. I really am feeling bad. Now to confirm with feelings, which is another thought. Confirmation thought. And what else? Let's stay in bed. What is that? Another thought. Let's stay in bed. That's how they control you and screw with your lives. I know I'm going to be very depressed tonight for helping you become aware of it. It's thought after thought after thought. Now you know. And you believe, assuming you believe. That's not fake Maya, it's not fake therapy. What do? Ignore it. That's why you practice chant. That's why you need to train your patience, meditation, because it's only a thought. And in meditation, we learn to ignore those thoughts. That's real therapy, not chemicals, not talks from you. They have to decide for themselves. Are you listening? They have to decide, you have to decide for yourself. It's a false thought. And since you are my chant students, what does Master YongHua teach you about false thoughts? Ignore them. Does it help? Go for us.
So, yes, Master. So, then what is such a thing as feeling? Is there a feeling? Like, it sounds like all of you are saying, I agree that they're all thoughts, right? So what does feeling do?
Feelings is from your receptors on your body. The sensors in your body. It says, oh, I hurt right here, I hurt right there. Okay? But those receptors need to be transmitted back and turned to a thought. Oh, it hurts there. Oh, it hurts there. You see that? It's still a thought. But a coarser form that manifests a form as feeling. It's multi-layered. Okay? What you see as an attraction to, let's say, a beautiful woman, beautiful man. Let's not be sexist. Pick one. Okay? Handsome man. Okay? You say, oh, okay? It's also a thought. Okay? It translates back to this thought here that registers in your brains. Does it help?
Yes, thank you, Master.
Okay, so that's why meditation is critical, because in meditation, you train yourself to recognize those thoughts quicker and not follow them. That's what I meant by ignoring them. Just a thought is just like a dog barking. Okay? They bark. And it's gone. It's you said, why do you bark at me? How dare you? So that's what they do to trick you. Don't think it's that simple. It first says, I feel bad. But once you say you ignore that, they're going to come up with a different type of thought that will invoke a reaction from you. So don't declare victory. Say, oh, I learned from Master YongHua today how to deal with depression. It doesn't work like that. You still need to go see your therapist. Because they change. They morphs into something different. Until when? Until you can increase your samadhi level. Because at this lower samadhi level, these thoughts can thrive in different forms. The best way for you to find more peace of mind, okay? Twofold, of course. Number one is that pay them off. Those of you who are into paybacks, okay? I'm cheap. I cannot pay back, so I leap. I go up there. They cannot shoot at you anymore. They cannot reach you anymore. It's like a dog barking, but it's about 10 miles away. Big deal. They will not stop barking at you, but they're 10 miles away. You see that? That's why in our world you need to be smart and do both. You need to, try to resolve it because eventually they bark at you again. So you want to resolve it. At the same time, for now, better to get further away from them. See that? Try to explain that to whatever happened this year. Now. Okay. This is how you deal with depression. You deal with manic, or you deal with schizophrenia. Same thing. They sit there and say, I'm so worried. I'm not sure I can do it. It's a thought. Yes? Because they're close to you enough. Okay? So that's why it registers. Any other questions? Go for it.
Master, I just want to comment that I think this has been really helpful because I think there has a lot of times when people feel depressed, I think that it feels like a whole body, your body like quickly start to react. It doesn't feel like it's just the mental part. It feels, you start feeling you have this like very physical or emotional reactions.
Absolutely.
So I think maybe this is because we're not catching it quick enough, and it sort of
It's more than that.
expands so fast.
No. It's a lot more than that. I'm simplifying a lot of things for you. It's way beyond I'm willing to explain to you. Because if I explain to you, then they come up with something else to attack you. So that's why I don't explain everything, so that they attack you the same way so I can recognize it. It's easier for me. You understand? They keep on morphing it. So that's why I don't explain everything to you. And then you come to me and say, but, they say, yeah, that's an attack. Because I've seen it before. But if I keep on telling everyone like right now, and then number 2, this is how they do it, number 3 is how they do it, they'll change it again. That's why I let these idiots use the same thing over and over again, so I can tell you all that matters for you to recognize that it's an attack. Do not fall for it. That's all. That, are you paying attention? That's your responsibility. If you keep on falling for it, it's your stupidity. You don't deserve it. Now you know. They're simply pulling your strings. They're simply fooling you. And you want to be a victim the rest of your life? You deserve it. You see, that's how those beings, your creditors, attack you through your 5 skandhas. Aren't we the best therapists, honey? Problem is that we cannot be therapists. We could be a therapist. You have no more job security. Yes, black.
말씀하셨는데 그들이라는 거는 구체적으로 어떤 뭐 물체인가 아니면 어떤 인간 사람인가 그런 걸 좀 말씀해 주십시오.
So you just mentioned about they attack us. And are they human beings? Are they some kind of material things? What is it? Can you define they? Who are they?
Those are the yin beings, the ghosts, the demons. They plant these thoughts in you. Okay? It's just like they're telling me, you better cut it short because we're going to make you pay. How depressing. And they say, these people are ungrateful, don't bother. Okay. And that's why I don't tell them everything. YouTube has been on waiting for a long time. Oh, poor YouTube.
So we have a YouTube question from Tiango. The question is, what level of samadhi does one need to deal with depression or bipolar?
Oh God, that was a good question. We answer you, they're going to attack you. They're going to attack me. So can I not answer, please? I get in enough trouble already. Okay, it's possible. Let me answer that. How's that? It's possible for you to cultivate, to reach a certain point where you cease to be a victim. That you can cease, you can really learn to stop being a victim. Okay? Let me put it this way for you as well, since we're there, and I don't want to leave you hanging. After you become enlightened, before you're enlightened, you're helpless. Sorry. Again, fake Mahayana. Don't believe it. You can't help yourself. They're too smart for you. They're too devious for you. You cannot help yourself. That's why, but it gets better, it gets easier. At the course level, you need therapists so that you don't inflict harm upon yourself. You feel so bad, okay, that you want to kill yourself, okay? That's coarse form of thoughts. It's not worth it, let's kill ourselves. Too much suffering, let's kill ourselves. That's very coarse form of attack, okay? And you get, as you improve, those attacks become less coarse. You are no longer a threat to yourself. Okay? But they still can confuse you until you become enlightened. Then you can be trained to actually become a danger to them, to your ghosts. So in the end, we win. Okay, YouTube still have a question?
Yes, so this YouTube question is from T.Hugh. It is in response to the answer given earlier in regards to the demons that attack us. The question is, are these the bad yin demons? And what about the good yin ghosts?
Oh, there's no good ghost. If they're ghosts, they're up to no good. If you are a not malevolent or good entity, that is called spirit. When you call ghosts, The ghosts are not your friends. Please tell your daughter that, Anna, ghosts are not your friends. Okay? But then maybe a spirit. But so ghosts are not friendly to you. Because ghosts is yin energy, they're up to no good. When they, from yin energy, they eventually change it, transform into yang energy, they become a spirit, then they are your good friends. They're useful to you. All right? I have so many questions, but it's so much to talk about. Anyone else? Yes, you too.
So it was a follow-up from T.Hugh from your answer. The question is, Earth Store Sutra mentioned ghosts who make a vow. That was the question.
So
I think she wants a comment on that.
they make a vow, but that's what they do. That they must do in order to turn from yin to yang. But it's just like they're capable of that one thought. Okay, I want to do good, but then it's the only one thought, and the rest is bad thoughts. Okay, so they still are not capable of doing good yet. All right, it's just like you. When you have a thought of doing good, you have a thought of donating to Wei Mountain Temple, for example, as a good thought. But whether you do or not is a big hurdle to clear, right? We all have that, right? It's really nice to become president. Yes? No. Okay, bad example. You know, we're capable of good thoughts, but actually doing it is much more difficult. It's a huge step forward that most people cannot carry out. All right? So many questions. Korea, do you have any questions? So that's why in general, when you have to deal with those things, you need to know your limitations. Yeah. You need to know that you can do so much, and beyond that, you need to consult. Like with, in a course form, you need to call the therapist. I have so many thoughts of killing myself. What do I do? Because you need advices. You need a clearer head, more experienced voice. Okay, same thing. As you get high, even though you progress and you are able to defend yourself better, you still need to consult so that you get better and better. Okay, they can't. It makes it much harder for them to confuse you. Because for a person like me, they confuse me at so many levels already. So that's why I look at you and say, oh, that's how they confuse you too. Okay? So that's why it's not good to document all these things. And then otherwise you keep on changing the ploys, the techniques. All right? All the questions disappear. Okay, there's one in the back here, black.
Master, I recently ran into a scenario. My friend was very upset with something or running through a depression. It was pretty bad. So I was in the room, and then my friend left the room. I remember you mentioned about the 5 heart mantra in the Pure Land Handbook. So my friend left the room, I stayed in there. I started doing the heart mantra, Chutonio Jela Miliju, for I don't know how many times, maybe about 50 times. And then after that, I started sitting, doing meditation. And then about 20 minutes or 30 minutes later, my friend returned And my friend seemed to be perfectly fine at that point. So did I do something, or it just not me at all?
He's the same friend that sits next to you?
No.
I'm just curious. So what is the question again?
So the question is, did I do something to interfere, or things just changed naturally?
I don't know. God works in mysterious ways. What can I say? Okay. The good news is that if you believe, and you don't call us fake, they're not. They can be handled. How's that? You owe them. That's why they're there. But you can learn to stop being a victim. This is what happens to most people who have mental illness. They're victims. Again, they need help. And of course, in Mahayana, the Buddha, in the history of the Buddha, he dealt with the ghosts and demons, all kinds of things, you see. So he trained his disciples on how to deal with them. So it's not as hopeless as you think. Yeah. But don't make a mistake of thinking that we can't wait to go out there and help people. We are not xia like the Chinese. Anyone do kung fu movies? Xiao xia. You know what that is? Oh, you gotta learn Chinese. Xiao xia is back then in old China, you know. People have ideals. They went to Shaolin. Shaolin. You know Shaolin, right? They went to Wutang. Huh? You know, Brady, you know Shaolin? Wutang? You know Wutang? It's next to Shaolin. Same kind of thing. I mean... No, not physically same close, but it's the same kind of thing. So they practice martial arts, right? They have this black belt. And then they said, so the Shufu, they says, you're good enough. Now I call you Xiao Cha. Xia, meaning that now you can become a samurai and go out and help the world. So the samurais only help their lords, right? I'm not Japanese. We all over, by the way. We go from China to Japan to back to Korea and then Vietnam and go forests and and so forth. Truly international. But so they what we known as heroes, where they go out there and they use their talents to help the oppressed and save the weak. And so forth. That's called xiao xia, the small heroes. Okay? Heroes, if you will. Okay? And it's interesting. I know you're making fun. You say, oh, this guy. Why do you keep on going back to the Chinese? Because it's a very important concept. Important concept is that these people have ideals, and then they acquire the skills, right? You can be your own xiao xia too. Stop being a victim. Okay? You say, I want to take care of myself. I'm tired of being a victim. I learn the skills. I find a way to deal with this problem. Stop being a victim. What happens to the majority of the people is that no one told them before. You don't have to be a victim. Tell them that. From today on, we're going to find a way to help you stop being a victim. Beat it into the brains. You, therapists. Okay? And don't worry about job security. They have to keep on coming back because they change, they morphs. But it's very important to have this ideal that says, I want to be a xiaoxia. I want to become a better man. And once my teacher says I'm good enough, I'm going to go and save the world. That's this ideal. That's very nice from is it Chinese or Vietnamese? I forgot. Chiu Chao. Okay, very beautiful Chiu Chao ideal. So far, so good? It's cool. See, this is, to me, please correct me if I'm wrong. To me, the Westerners don't have that kind of depth that we Asians have. Seriously. Westerners, you guys make money. You have become smart, right? Learn to be a genius, invent something, make a lot of money, and then you're bored to death. Yeah? And so, what is my next challenge? I'm the best gamer in Northern California. Okay? There's no more challenges left. Okay? So the Westerners, they get the knowledge, they develop skills and expertise, and then they get to the top mountain and say, I'm bored to death. That's what happened to Bill Gates. And then his teacher came along, Warren Buffett came along and said, that's as high as you can go. Next challenge, philanthropy. Yes? And God bless Warren Buffett. And because of that, Mr. What's his name? Gates is now a bodhisattva. He's helping the world. It kills me. All the Vietnamese are calling Bill Gates the bodhisattva. Bill Gates, I said, whoa, 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 whoa. What about me? I feel so threatened. So insensitive Westerners, Vietnamese. So anyway, so now Mr. Bill Gates is now saving the world and so forth. But it's still not there. It still falls short of the ideal in Asia we have, where we sacrifice ourselves. Bill Gates is not sacrificing himself. Agree or disagree? Your president is sacrificing you. Oh, excuse me, political thing. I take it back. A true great hero sacrifices himself. That's the Asian ideal, folks, not Westerners. You Westerners are serving yourself. Agree? Huh? Even you sacrifice yourself for God, it's still yourself. You know that? Because you aspire to be with God. The Asian philosophy, sir, okay, is that you sacrifice yourself, you disappear for the sake of others. Oh, now he's come back alive. He says,
I disagree.
How come it doesn't surprise me? Go ahead. Speak your mind. Spill it out.
We're supposed to sacrifice for the people for other people to go to heaven, not just yourself, because then you'll be. So that's my opinion.
So Christian. We sacrifice ourselves for all beings, not just people. That's Asian. You know that? All beings. Because, listen, a lot of Westerners go and sacrifice themselves for the sake of elephants, rhinoceros, okay? That's the beginning. The Asians, Chiu people, you know, all beings. Okay? Not just people. That's the depth of Asian culture. Why are we here? Why are we talking about Xiaoxia? Okay, never mind. Okay, so just keep that in mind. Okay, the realm that you're thinking of people is still too small. There's still insects. There's still ghosts. Still gods. There's still all those beings. They need help. They're suffering. They're in pain. They need help too. Okay, not just people. And until all the non-humans stop being in pain, okay, the humans will always be in pain. Always. Can you see that? If you only help human beings, their pain and suffering will never end. We have to help all living beings' pain and suffering. That's why eventually human beings will stop hurting, will stop suffering. That's Asian ideal for you, my friend. Ju Zhao, ask them. I haven't seen her for a while. That's why I, kiss up to her a little bit, just for today only. Okay, YouTube still has a question.
Yes, so we have a YouTube question from Tiango. The question is, how would you become a danger to ghosts? Is there mantra or other dharmas that we can do to help ourselves or our loved ones with depression?
How are they dangerous to you? How is someone dangerous to you? How is a Trump supporter dangerous to you? It's only 2 more days, come on, I'm running out of things to talk about. In 2 days, I cannot talk like this anymore. It's fait accompli. It's done. Too late. How can someone be a danger to you? Because they can harm you, right? Right? Same thing. You're a danger to a ghost because you can harm them. Right now, people don't know how to harm ghosts. But your practice become Chiu Chao Xiao Xia, you might learn the skills to hurt them. Then they pay attention, and then they listen to you. That's life. Unless you are of danger to them, why would they pay attention to you? Why would they listen to you? Right? So that's why the ghosts may be causing problems. This is why not to toot our horns, but we realize that these people need to be controlled, otherwise they will harm themselves. The ghosts and the demons are harming themselves, they just don't know it. So that's why we practice to become Buddhist xiaoxia, Buddhist samurais, you will. Okay? But the Buddhist samurais are serving everyone, not just their lords. Okay? All right. Do you have YouTube questions? I'm opening a new can of worms. Yes.
Yes, so there's Yes, there's more YouTube questions. This is from Alta D. But before the question, Alta D mentioned earlier the reason why he hasn't been coming to the temple is because his car is broke down. So the question is from Alta D.
We have a fun
if-
drive. Can we have a GoFundMe? It came yesterday. It's true. Yeah, I'm just making fun of you, Otadi. Congratulations, by the way. It's my underhanded way to say, good job. You went from 1 to 3. Okay. You still
So
need to
his,
ask a question?
Yes. So his question is, if our ghosts turn from yin to yang and become our friends, can we help them cultivate to become good spirits and our friends?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. They come and support you. Yep, yes. Next.
Yes, there is more question. This question is from T.Hugh. The question is, how do humans owe ghosts and demons?
Most likely prior lives. Meaning in a prior life, you believe in reincarnation. In prior life, you did wrong to someone else, and that now they become a ghost, and you become you. Now they're coming to harass you because you owe them. Next.
There's no more YouTube questions. Thank
Okay,
you,
very
Master.
good. There's one question in the back here.
I have a question. Let's say that you tell the whole thing about how to get rid of depression, right? And then you're saying that ghosts will attack you in different ways. So my question is, you don't get Dharma protectors to protect you against the ghosts or demons?
They're too busy protecting me. Okay, next, White.
You mentioned that...
Because what happened, excuse me, I need to elaborate for him. He thinks it's a joke, but it's not. Why would they protect you? I ask you, sir. Did you think about it? You think the FBI has time to protect you? They didn't protect, Vicki. Can you see that? Okay? So before they protect you, they have to protect me. That's what I meant. Because I'm more important. Just kidding. Yes, White.
I think you mentioned earlier that when we reach enlightenment, we're out of the ghost's reach. But when you mentioned enlightenment, was that small enlightenment or great enlightenment?
Great enlightenment. Small enlightenment, they still can run circles around you. And you cannot tell. And this is why those people complain. They said, we are fake, we fake, we fake. And we say, you're right, we fake, we fake, we fake. But you know what? We help you anyway, whether you call us fake or you harm us, you slander us, and do other things. We still help you because you can't help yourself. We're bigger. We can be big. Ooh, I'm getting back at all these people. Thank you. Thank you. It's so exciting. Anyone else? Are we all happy? Yes, sir. Question in the back. Microphone. Green.
저는 그 질문이라기보다도 그 인간과 귀신의 관계에 대해서 좀 제 의견을 말씀드릴까 하는데 허락해 주시겠습니까?
I don't have a question, but I have a discussion about man and God. Would you allow me to say that?
Sure.
우리 안에는 저는 네 가지로 구분을 하고 있습니다. 자성, 중생, 일체 영영, 일체 재불, 그리고 나라는 오온이 들어있다고 생각합니다. 예, 지금 우리 안에는 자생, 중생, 일체 영영, 일체 재불, 그리고 오온인 내가 있다고 생각합니다.
I'm going to try my best because he used the Chinese characters. In our mind, I believe that our self nature and all the living beings' nature are all in one together.
우리에게는 항상 안에 영이 다 들어있는데 내가 힘이 부족하면은 그 영은 활동이 좀 강하게 느낀다고 생각이 됩니다.
Inside of us, I believe there is a spirit. When I'm weak, and this spirit becomes stronger.
근데 그 영이 내 안에서 작용을 한다고 하는 것은 나한테 두 가지 도움이 된다고 생각합니다.
So those spirit functions in front of me, I think there are two benefits.
우선 그 영은 내가 가지고 있는 불성, 내 본래의 마음자리, 굉장히 큰 에너지죠. 그 에너지를 갖기를 원합니다. 근데 스스로 그 영은 그걸 갖지 못합니다. 그래서 나는 그 영을 안고선 같이 내 불성의 그 크나큰 그 우주를 움직이는 에너지에다가 같이 합을 줍니다.
This spirit wants to have my original nature, but they are not able to do it. So I have to be with them and then walk together and take care of them.
그래서 그 영은 고맙다고 그래가지고선 천백억 보살로 바뀌게 되는 것 같습니다.
And the spirit eventually appreciated and they will become bodhisattvas. So they become many limitless Buddha, bodhisattvas. They become limitless bodhisattvas.
예, 따라서 그 영은 나한테 큰 그 공부를 할 수 있는 하여튼 그 계기가 되는 것이죠. 예, 감사합니다.
So I believe those spirit really helped me with my cultivations. Thank you.
Yeah, we are interdependent. This is why when you are at your current state, you're afraid of ghosts and spirits and are jealous of each other. But once you have real wisdom, you cease to be afraid. You cease to feel threatened by these people instead of getting upset because they attack you, because they try to harm you. Okay? Or they harmed you. You have the strength and the wisdom to recover and not be afflicted anymore. Okay? So we are interconnected. We are interdependent. That's the nature of the existence. That's a self-nature right there. Okay? But I need to remind you, many of you are well-read and have these sound beliefs. It's not beliefs. It's not knowledge. It's about doing the right thing. It's about knowing what to do to be able to develop the wisdom and the skills to be of service to mankind, to all living beings. And that takes practice. It takes sacrifices. When we talk about sacrificing for the sake of all living beings, starts right now. You cannot say that I'm going to sacrifice when I have the skills. It's because you start right now. That's what enables you to develop the wisdom and the ability to help others. Because you have a need. You cannot develop the skills until you have a need. So instead of being depressed, because you have depression, okay? You could tell yourself, I'm under attack, and therefore let me learn how to deal with this, become stronger, rise above this, so that someday I will help others who are like me right now. Okay? If you have that kind of mindset, you can rise above it very quickly. Yes, white.
At each level of our cultivation, we'll have different challenges that we'll have to recognize and deal with. Isn't that correct, Master?
Yes,
Okay.
that's absolutely correct. That's why each level has its challenges, has its own confusion, types of confusions that prevent you from seeing clearly. And that's why the Chinese are smart. They, instead of trying to fix it themselves, they go to someone who's much higher and says, oh, I know your type of confusion. I'm here because I went through that before. Okay? So that requires you to have blessings in order to be able to save time. You don't have the blessings, you try to figure it out yourself. Sound familiar, people? Smart people say, I figure it out. There's no problem I can't fix. Of course you can figure it out. Anyone can figure it out. It might take a few lifetimes. Okay? If you're lucky. It's because you don't have the blessings to know that other people can have figured it out and are in a much better position because they figure it out and rose way beyond that and they say, okay, I see why. Because they have this resolve of saying, I want to rise above this so that one day I will come back and help my mother, my father, my brother, my sister, my nephew. It started with that. No one ever taught you. You say, I'm hurt so bad, I don't feel good. If you keep on thinking like that, your entire life's going to be like that. You never have enough. You always suffer. Okay, you have to broaden your boundaries. Okay, then you deserve to be helped. But you see, in order for you to not be confined to your own small pettiness, you need to have blessings first. So the Mahayana is clever. Okay? Yeah. Instead of talking, instead of selling themselves, they work. They create blessings. They make vows. They said, I want to rise above my pettiness, my small self, so that I can be the best I can be. No, that's too commercial. I can realize my potential. Then I'm going to truly help people. Okay? That's what we're about. If you want to only help yourself, you'll be a victim forever. And I'm not complaining. You have to keep on coming. You say, oh, Master, I need help. Yeah, of course. Yes, son. Let's talk about it. Okay? It's not beliefs. It's not knowledge. It's about vows. That's what I'm teaching you today. vow to be better than yourself. We teach you about these beautiful people like Hui Neng, like Chu Cheng, for you to say, I can be like that too. I want to be like that too one of these days. If he's enlightened, I can be enlightened too. Why not me? Why do I have to be small like myself? I can be like him. And that's the proper kind of mindset. Look around you. There are many people who are better than you. They're there, they're better than you because they have a bigger heart than you. You're too preoccupied with yourself. You're better than that. So today's motto, especially for Master Hsien-Hua disciples, are you paying attention? You, his disciples, realize your potential. You still are not good enough because you are small thinkers. I want you to think bigger. That's what it takes to get there. And once you think bigger, commit to walk the path. Don't talk. Walk it. That's Mahayana. You can talk all you want. You say, fake Mahayana. There's a bad person. It's a good person. It's a great patriarch. Who cares? Hui Neng is Hui Neng in all due respect. But I'm stupid. Hui Neng is only useful because I aspire to be like him. That's what he wants from me, not my adoration. Can you buy that? Master Hui Neng says, he's very famous. Whether you adore him or not, it doesn't make any difference. It means nothing to him. But it means the whole world to him. He says, after going through a few slides here today, and say, wow, this guy is so cool. I can be like that too. How's that? Don't be so small-minded. Let go. Free yourself from your small, petty self, from your small 5 skandhas. And be as big as Hui Neng's. Then you say, when you get there, you say, wow, I'm glad Master YongHua told me. And it's too late now. I can't give him a donation anymore. Don't worry, I gave up on trying to pick your pockets. Okay, thank you everyone. Let's do a rebirth transference. We're busy, quite a few people. They need our help. Thank you all for all the goodness we generated today. That's helped them, some lost souls to go to the Pure Land. Okay? Thank you all. And after this, we have a very important 3 refuges as well. And we have our musicians ready to perform. Okay, children, no. Inspire, Jane. It's not about teaching them. It's about inspiring them to be bigger than they are, bigger than you. Okay? That's what a teacher is supposed to do.